Hi, it's John Terry, the Black Belt Leader, and welcome to this complimentary training, Conquering the Enemy, Defeat. This training is brought to you by Black Belt Leadership, an international coaching and training company focused on doing one thing, helping you discover, develop, and deploy the Black Belt Leader within. Now, what are you going to get out of this training? Every single day, you and I wake up and we face the day. And many times during the day, we're going to face challenges and situations that we have a choice. We can allow those circumstances and situations to overwhelm us and to drive us to our knees and allow us to experience defeat in our lives. Or we, like the ancient samurai, like the knights of the Round Table, we can rise to the occasion and come together to defeat the enemy so that we can continue to move forward and experience success in our lives. You're going to discover in this training that choice is yours. So let's get started. You know, when we think about the ancient samurai or the knights of the feudal era, they were warriors. They were there to protect the kingdom. And anytime an enemy came into the kingdom to disrupt peace and prosperity, the king, the shogun, the overlord, the individuals that were in charge of the kingdom called for the warriors, the samurai or the knights, to rally to the cause. And they came together as one to do one thing, and that was to defeat the enemy and to drive them from the land. Now, today here in America and around the world, we face a leadership crisis. One of my personal mentors, Dr. John C. Maxwell, has defined this time in history as, in his words, quote, leadership sad. Now, add to John's words a sense of hopelessness and despair that the coronavirus pandemic brought to this planet in 2020. And we've seen people around the world experience defeat in a measure many have never experienced in generations. Far too many individuals have lost hope. Depression is rampant, not only here in the United States, but around the world. We continue to see cities and states and countries go through lockdowns. We see people sick and dying. We see businesses closing their doors, jobs being lost, depression, anxiety, frustration, fear, and anger all swelling up. Individuals' lives destroyed as their businesses are shuttered, never to open. So what are we really experiencing? Defeat as an enemy has launched a major campaign of terror on our land. And without strong leadership, the prospects of us overcoming this enemy are scant. But if we think into and understand military tactics, and we understand that defeat is an enemy with a battle plan, if we can understand the battle plan and we can recognize the tactics the enemy is using to drive us to our knees, we can apply appropriate countermeasures and beat the enemy at his own game. Defeat is an enemy that you and I must individually vanquish in our lives if we want to experience not just a little bit of success, but overwhelming stratospheric success in our lives. So in this training, I want to share the 5 battle tactics that the enemy defeat is using right now to drive you to your knees and to steal success from your grasp. And I want to give you the appropriate countermeasures so that you can rally the forces to bring the samurai and the knights together as one to vanquish the enemy of defeat from your life. Now, the first battle tactic of the enemy defeat is doubt. This is his first line of attack, because when we allow uncertainty to creep into our thinking, our confidence becomes shaken. You know, James Allen said it right when he says, as we think, we become. And defeat's initial volley, their initial line of attack, is to shake our confidence in ourselves, to rattle our belief in our own ability to overcome. And when we begin to question ourselves and our abilities, or even whether or not the pursuit of our goals and our dreams are worth the sacrifice, the seeds of doubt have been planted in our thoughts. And if left unchecked, these seeds will begin to start allowing us to second guess ourselves. And when we become double-minded, we become unstable in all of our ways. Now, after the first wave of the attack of doubt, the enemy follows with the second attack, and that is distortion. Because the enemy understands that if he can plant the seeds of doubt in our lives and allow doubt time to germinate and grow into our thought life, our thinking determines our reality. Remember what James Allen said, as we think, we become. And if we allow our thoughts to be distorted from where we are going and what we are pursuing, the seeds of doubt and distortion cloud our ability to think clearly and to think in the right direction. Our objectivity becomes skewed as negative thinking begins to cloud our reality. And when negative thinking takes hold of our lives, we begin to focus on the problem and not the solution. We begin to see the worst case scenario and not the opportunity to overcome. And we know from the study of neuroscience that what we focus our attention on magnifies in our thinking and in our response. So distortion leads to a flawed perception of reality that begins to till the ground of our minds so that the seeds of hopelessness can soon bear forth its full fruit. The third line of attack of defeat is discouragement, because the enemy understands when they can get the fruit of the seed of hopelessness to begin to grow full measure in our lives, all of a sudden we begin to realize that defeat is stealing and killing and destroying our dreams. That's what hopelessness and discouragement does. We lose sight of our goals and our aspirations for a better tomorrow, and we become focused on the difficulties that we're facing at the moment. Discouragement can lead to an overwhelming loss of confidence in our own abilities. And all of a sudden, we begin to question ourselves. We question our skills, our thinking, our motives, and even our mission and our calling in life. Defeat understands that discouragement is like quicksand. And if it can get our feet caught, it halts our forward momentum. And it quickly dissuades us from taking action to counteract defeat and to move forward with our plans for success. Now, the fourth weapon in defeat's arsenal is distraction. Because when doubt begins to distort our thinking, discouragement stirs up those feelings of hopelessness. It's much easier for defeat to turn our attention from the path that we've been walking on, pursuing that which we've been called to do, and we find ourselves walking a different path or not walking at all. Distraction becomes a tool of defeat that causes the mind to become diverted, unfocused, perplexed, and bewildered. It literally causes us to cease moving forward and often positions us in a place that can harm us because we're not aware of what's going on around us. Distraction can literally take us off of the path that we have chosen to pursue to accomplish the amazing things in life that we want to see done and move us in a different direction that's totally and completely away from where we want to be and where we want to go in our lives. But more importantly, distraction sets you up for the enemy's final tactic, because distraction begins to isolate you from others who could come to your aid. Now, the final tactic of the enemy defeat is division, because once you've started to doubt yourself and your thinking becomes defeated and distorted, all of a sudden you become discouraged and distracted. Defeat now seeks to end the battle by doing one thing, and that is separating you from others. That's what this conquering villain does, because it understands that an enemy separating its opponent makes that opponent easy prey. Through the clever use of disagreement, division forms a boundary between you and other people. And rather than focusing on the things that unite us, the common goals that we can pursue together to accomplish great things as a group, our attention becomes redirected to petty issues that divide us. Otherwise, we would be able to come together and to use our strengths to rally and to defeat the enemy of defeat. But when division can have its way, it isolates us. It creates meism, that it becomes all about me and my needs and not the needs of the collective or the goal for which we have been put on this earth to make a difference. Division drives a wedge in relationship because defeat understands that a soldier that is alone in battle is easy prey for the enemy. My mentor, John Maxwell, says one is too small a number to achieve greatness. And defeat understands that. And if defeat can keep you alone or separate you from those that are helping you pursue whatever it is that you are pursuing in life, that amazing dream, that ambition, that goal that you want to see achieved, the difference that you want to make in your life and in the lives of others, if defeat can separate you and get you isolated and alone, you become easy prey. So now that we understand the enemy's tactics, how do we overcome the enemy defeat? The first tactic that you need to employ in your countermeasures is confidence. Now, why confidence? Because confidence overcomes doubt. Because when you begin to doubt, you begin to question yourself, your motives, your mission, your skills, and even your calling. But when you lean into the confidence of who you are and realize that there is an image inside yourself that you have begun to cultivate that is greater than what defeat is telling you that you are. Defeat is a liar that wants you to see the worst in yourself rather than the best in yourself. But when you have confidence, you can look back at the battles that you've already fought and won. You can see the enemies that you've already overcome, and you realize this is but another intruder in the land who, like the enemies you've previously defeated, is ultimately going to fall before you because of your belief in yourself. What you have been called to do and what you have been put on this earth to accomplish has been something that is uniquely given to you. And the only thing holding you back from your potential is not your circumstance, but your response to the circumstance. And as you lean into the confidence of who you are and what you are becoming, you begin to change your reality for the better. The second countermeasure to overcoming the enemy of defeat is truth. Why? Because distortion is conquered by truth. When you begin to doubt, you begin to have distorted thinking. Your judgment becomes impaired. But when you hold fast to your values, those non-negotiables in your lives, the things you know to be true and the thing that you know you have been called on this earth to become and to do, and the place that you're going to make a difference, now you can focus your energy and attention there where it becomes. You get your mind off of the problem and onto the solution so that you can move on and get back to what it is that you have been called to do. Now, this is easier than you think, and the enemy defeat doesn't want you to know this. But remember, you have the ability as an emotionally intelligent warrior to control your thinking. And you can take captive every thought you're thinking and make it obedient to your will. You have that ability as an emotionally intelligent warrior. You can manage and control your thought life. You can manage and control your emotions. And you don't have to allow negative ways of thinking, fear, anxiety, and the other emotions that come from the enemy defeat to overwhelm your life. You can choose a different reality because truth for you is your ability to control your thinking and to think into the problem that you're facing, see the solution that's already there before you, pursue that, and then get back to what it is you have been called to do. You are the warrior waiting to rise to the occasion. The third tactic that you need to employ to defeat the enemy defeat is encouragement. Why? Because encouragement counters discouragement. When you're speaking words of affirmation over yourself or others that are around you in the heat of battle, this is incredibly powerful. If you've never had an opportunity to watch the movie Braveheart, I would encourage you to go seek that movie out. Mel Gibson's portrayal of William Wallace is a model example of affirmation. Even as an enemy came in to conquer the land, William Wallace continued to speak words of affirmation. He challenged the enemy of defeat that was looming at the gates, looking to overthrow and conquer their land. And to hear his words time and again, encouraging, uplifting, inspiring, challenge, and affirming his followers, and in doing so, affirming himself, gave him and his followers the ability to overcome. You know, essentially, what am I talking about? Becoming your own cheerleader, your own raving fan. Because the confidence in who you are, the ability to control your thinking, being an emotionally intelligent warrior, gives you the ability to understand who you are and what you are becoming. And as a result of that, you can stand and you can rally those that are following to come alongside of you to join shields together and to encourage one another as together you push back on the enemy defeat. Now, the final tactic in overcoming the enemy of defeat is being intentional and being unified. So let's talk about being intentional first. This is how we deal with and overcome distraction. Rather than taking your eye off the prize, you're going to refocus your energy and your efforts on getting back to what's most important. And that is pursuing your calling in the earth, becoming a better version of yourself, not allowing defeat and circumstances and the situations of life to distract you or to cause you to doubt or to distort where it is that you're going. Remember, the Knights of the Round Table wore a helmet, not just to protect them in battle, but those helmets restricted their peripheral vision, allowing them to only see the enemy that was before them and not to be distracted by what was going on either side. They trusted the soldier to their left and the soldier to the right to take care of the enemy to either side of them, and they focused their attention on the enemy before them at the moment because they knew if they defeated that enemy and those beside them did their job together, they would vanquish the enemy in the land. It's no different for you. Your words of affirmation that you're speaking into your own life steals your resolve to essentially put the blinders on and to pursue the enemy of defeat, not to be distracted, not to allow your thinking to be distorted, but to understand this is not a roadblock. It is simply an obstacle to get through or to go over or to get around so that you can get back on the path of pursuing whatever it is that you have been called to do. Now, to wrap this up, let's talk about unity because that is the final element and the final tactic in being able to overcome the enemy because this counteracts division. When we can come together as a group of individuals, we can put aside the petty differences that may seek to divide us and come together, finding common ground. Together, we can accomplish great things. Remember what I shared earlier that my mentor, John Maxwell, says, one is too small a number to achieve greatness. And when we can come together, understanding that we face a common enemy, and regardless of our cultural differences, we are one race, the human race, and we face a common enemy, and that is defeat, seeking to hold us back from whatever it is that we have been called to do, the purpose for which we have been put on this earth to make a difference. And when we can focus on what matters and rally people to our cause, we can see things change for the better. Leaders challenge the circumstances and situations in front of them because they understand when they challenge them and they take them head on, they can change things for the better. You know, the Spartans understood this, and if you've ever watched the movie The 300, you see portrayed in that epic movie how 300 individuals that came together with a common purpose and a common goal could defeat an enemy much larger than they were and hold them at bay for a considerable period of time. And here's what we know from military history: an enemy cannot defeat a cohesive fighting force near as easily as an enemy can defeat individuals that are separated and alone. When we are fighting as a team and we are united, our opportunity to see success is not just leveraged, it's multiplied. And if you look at the greatest military victories in history, it's when men and women have come together for a common cause and have pursued unity as the course of action, focusing their attention on the common enemy at hand and putting everything in their effort forward to defeat that enemy. For you, it's no different. Rallying the people that believe in you and letting them see that you believe in yourself. Together, you can accomplish amazing things. So let's recap. You conquer doubt with confidence. You conquer distortion with truth. You conquer discouragement with encouragement. You conquer distraction by being intentional. And you counter division with unity. So now you understand the tactics of the enemy. You've been given a battle plan to go and vanquish the enemy. So the challenge for you is to take what you've learned and defeat the enemy of defeat. Go and conquer the enemy. Get past that obstacle and that roadblock in your life and pursue with passion that which you have been called to do. Why? Because that's what black belt leaders in life do. Hey, let me thank you for joining me for this online training, and let me encourage you to find out more about who we are and what we can offer to you and your team by visiting our website at beablackbeltleader.com. You can pick up a copy of my best-selling book, Black Belt Leadership, access our online digital masterclass, over 10 hours of video training, understanding the 10 essential qualities of leadership and how to implement those in your life or to implement those in the team that you're leading. You can also get access to Shihan University, learning and understanding. The word Shihan means one who pursues excellence. It is an online subscription library with content continually being added, and every month, new leadership, communication, sales and marketing, personal growth and development, tools, resources, and training are available there for you to continue to up-level yourself on your own leadership journey. Now, think about this. You and I are every day leading someone somewhere right now, because everywhere we're going in life, someone is following. The question you and I must answer is, how well are we leading? And the answer to that question is going to be based upon really two things. What are we doing to grow ourselves and learn new information that we can apply to become a better version of who we are? And how are we modeling that for those who are following? Because here's what we know. People do what people see. And when they see you model black belt excellence by focusing on becoming a black belt leader in life, a serious student of learning to lead yourself well, that's when amazing changes happen. And if you want to create a high-performance, people-centric, results-oriented, non-leader dependent team, you've got to learn to lead yourself well and teach others on your team to do the same. You can get those resources at beablackbeltleader.com. I'm John Terry, the Black Belt Leader. Thanks for joining me for this complimentary training. Have a great day.